Weißt du, wer da liegt auf dem Denge Marsh Beach? In der Wüste aus Stein, nah beim Kernkraftbiest?
Hä? Was ist das? Danke.
This is the story that my mom told me when I was your age.
Okay.
Es war einmal, vor langer, langer Zeit, da schwamm durch die dunklen Tiefen der finsteren Nordsee.
Once upon a time, in fact, not that long ago, as the century turned, if you do want to know, on the fourth but last day of the year 99, a mysterious creature, his appearance divine, swam slowly through the dark depths of the grey British Sea, a merman, so desperate he wanted to flee the sorrows and pangs of impossible love that he felt for the fisherman's daughter above. The treacherous sea witch with devious smile had seen him coming and lured him inside. She was all ears when he poured out his heart and confessed that forbidden love tore him apart. The witch cooed falsely. "What tough times for you! Incidentally, I have magical powers, it's true. Being loved by your sweetheart, would that not be nice? I can make it happen, but it comes at a price." Meanwhile, on the shore of Denge Marsh Beach, the fisherman's daughter was nibbling a peach. She sat on the edge of the old-weathered pier, with the wind in her hair and the world in her ear. For her eyes were blind to all things around, so her mind painted pictures for her purely from sound. Yet this morning the blind maiden swished around, startled by an unusual sound, when ridding herself of the pit of her peach. Instead of a splash, a plonk, and a screech. "Who's there?" she exclaimed, with a fraction of fear, as no one had ever come up to her pier, at least not from that side of the sea. What was going on, and how could this be? The merman, meanwhile, was quite fearful too. Was this his personal Waterloo? That sea witch had stolen his glorious physique, had turned him into a stony freak. How on earth could he woo now the love of his life without taking the risk and give her right fright? But just as he frantically thought of a plan, she called, "I don't believe in the bogeyman. Show yourself, stranger. I know you are there. Your heart beats too loud in your chest. Be aware. Even though I don't see you, I picture you still. Reveal yourself properly, or else I shall shrill." With a sigh of torment, the merman gave in and slowly moved closer, his hands quivering. How slim were the odds for him to succeed, and the thought of this made his broken heart bleed. The fisherman's daughter, she sensed his fears, reached out with her hands, caught one of his tears, and softly she spoke. "Come and tell me what's wrong. Your sorrow is mine. Together we're strong." For a moment he froze and considered retreat, when he suddenly almost felt knocked off his feet, for the blind girl took hold of his hands, and so he continued and told her his long tale of woe, of feeling so different and not fitting in. Why could he not be like the rest around him? Until that one day he laid eyes on her, and a sense of belonging began to stir. Yet his feelings of joy soon turned into pain and started to drive him almost insane, since most merpeople see it as the biggest disgrace to love someone from the human race. Overcome by big sadness, the maiden replied, "My dear stone-turned merman, I feel horrified by the prejudice some of your folks seem to hold. They seem superficial, judgmental, and cold. Back home I must rush, but come back in the morning. We'll continue our talk whilst my dad is still snoring." And despite being left on the shore all alone, our Stoneman began to feel wondrously warm. Meanwhile, in the depths of the grey British Sea, the sea witch's face had turned pure vomit green. The two lovebirds were making her sick to the bone. So she sluggishly slid off her DIY throne to slightly adjust her original plan before it might go even more out of hand. Still, the witch was convinced that the merman would lose the deal he had made with her, so she did choose for a bit too long which hat to wear. I'm ever so glad you did not hear her swear. The next day, when she arrived moments too late, and they'd already started on their second date. There was nothing the sea witch could do but wait. She had to think fast, before it was too late. Oh, the sea witch she suffered. This was much worse than hell, as she had to admit she had used the wrong spell. That the merman now looked like a grey, stony beast to a pretty blind girl didn't matter the least. His voice had enchanted her down to the core, and all she now wanted was listen some more. The sea witch she knew there wasn't much time. If this does continue, he'll never be mine. So when the young girl arrived back at her home, the foul sea witch put on her most tempting tone and teasingly spoke. Do you not want to see the wondrous man who has spoken to thee? Surprised, the girl spoke. Blind I always will be. The witch replied, Not if you dare follow me. But maybe I should have just kept my mouth shut and let you get on with your life in your hut. For earning your sight, it was quite a tough toll that is likely too hard for your delicate soul. The fisherman's girl, to the witch's delight, froze in her step, her cheeks flustered bright. Tell me what to do so I can see, and I will do it ASAP. The witch, with a satisfied grin, replied, Well, all you need to do is go and tell the first person you see in the morn with your eyes that they're awful, disgusting, a freak to despise. If your lips stay sealed, so will your eyes. Make your decision by tomorrow sunrise. And thus, the witch vanished in a black puff of smoke. The horrified girl thought that she was to choke. Oh, what a dilemma! She was desperate for eyes, but they came at a treacherous, inhuman price. They met the next morn. It was hardly light. The bad witch was there, but the girl, without fright, took a step forward. She held her head high, composed herself, swallowed, and with a sigh, she raised her voice and spoke loud and clear, with the first sun rays melting the rest of her fear. All my life, I have longed and wanted to see what so far I only imagined to be. And now that I have the chance to gain sight, I tell you, O sea witch, with bitter delight, that my blind eyes are eye enough to see what truly and really matters to me. Therefore, my dear Stoneman, do take my hand and guide me through this whimsical land that your wonderful voice sees and paints for me. That is all I need to be happy and free. Thus she spoke. Then she raised herself, tilted her head. She wanted their lips to seal what she had said. However, just as they were about to unite, the sea witch exploded with anger and spite and unleashed the most violent storm ever seen. It wiped out and slashed Denge Marsh Beach crystal clean. It tore up and crushed all that was not made of stone. The Stoneman's mute scream, heard by dawn all alone. The dust has settled. Out of its dense fog looms the spirit of Denge Marsh Beach like a rock. Across the demolished and pulverized plain, the ghost can be heard. Your love wasn't in vain. Never, under my watchful eye, will true love ever be undermined. The damage seems done. I can't bring back the dead. But what I can do is ease the pain instead. Once every moon, by the onset of night, the two misled lovers are allowed to unite. The nevermore merman sank down to the ground, where his figure of stone still today can be found. There he lies on the shingles of Denge Marsh Beach, and dreams of his love when she nibbled that peach. He remembers her courage to accept staying blind, in order to live a maxime, be kind. He lies there and holds tight the Denge Marsh dust, for somewhere in there rests his true love, and once in a moon, through their guardian's charm, the eternal lovers unite arm in arm. There you are, star-crossed lovers from the fifth continent. Let love's story to us be a strong monument, that we dare to be different, that we dare to be true, to ourselves and our dreams, that we always pursue to achieve what deep down we wish to be. So with kindness and courage we set ourselves free.